opportunity, turns the corner, gets the equalizer. Big hit, how about that?
How do you like that? Stops the first penalty kick he sees.
It's loose in front of the goal cage, and it's put in! Oh my.
She's going to take another shot, and it's into the back of the net.
Once again, Patriot League champions.
The road to the NCAA tournament jumpstarts tonight in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, with a women's soccer Patriot League quarterfinal showdown featuring the number 5 seed, the Lehigh University Mounthawks, and the number 4 seed, the Bucknell University Bison. Let's roll out the conference tournament bracket. The top seed is Boston University. Nancy Feldman's squad went 7-0-2 in the regular season. Therefore, they'll host the semifinals at Nickerson Field starting on Friday. The 2 seed is Colgate after a strong regular season. The other quarterfinal matchup going on right now is that rich rivalry featuring Army and Navy. With that, we say welcome to the pitch. I'm Justin Answell here at Graham Field at Home Stadium. Great to be alongside our soccer guru, Matt Catrillo. Matt, let's start with the visiting Mountain Hawks. It was a tough start to the season. 0-4, things look bleak. They got that big win against American, and now they have some confidence after squeaking into this postseason.
Well, they're finally scoring some goals, Justin. They were shut out by 4 Patriot League opponents this season, a team that's averaging .88 goals per game coming into tonight. Now they've scored 5 goals in their final 2 games of the regular season, so now they're feeling good about themselves, albeit they split those last 2 games. But they still have that confidence offensively coming into tonight to begin the postseason against a very good Bison back line.
Lehigh trying to advance to the Patriot League semifinals for the first time since 2012. As for Bucknell, look, they've had a target on their back. They're back-to-back Patriot League tournament champs, but offensively, it's been a struggle. They've only mustered 1 goal the last 4 games. Matt, what needs to change?
Well, it's got to go back to the offensive end and being able to first try to establish some possession, which has been a challenge for the Bison this season. But if it can't come to that, cash in on your set pieces. That's something that the Bison have done a better job with down the stretch, being able to get corner kicks, be able to get direct kicks. They got to be able to cash in on those set pieces and try to see if they can establish some offensive possession. But if it comes down to that, cash in on those opportunities late in the game especially.
Lehigh and Bucknell always play intense contests. In fact, the last 3 meetings have each been decided by 1 goal. This is a matchup that features 2 of the best in the Patriot League, in Kelly Cook and Eric Lambinas. When we come back, we'll have lineups and opening kick. The winner goes shipping up to Boston. All the action next on PLN. Ideal soccer weather, 50 degrees and pleasant outside. Patriot League tournament quarterfinal action about to get underway here from Graham Field at Home Stadium in downtown Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Great to be alongside Matt Catrillo and our entire crew. I'm Justin Antwell. Lehigh, the 5 seed, went 6-11 overall, 3-6 in league play. Bucknell, the 4 seed, they've won each of the last 2 conference tournament championships. They're 7-10-1 overall, and they finished 5-4 in league play. Let's meet the head coach for the Lehigh University Mounthawks in his 9th year. Eric Lambinas helped guide Lehigh to their only Patriot League championship back in 2010. He was a 4-time all-conference selection at Moravian College, and his staple is defense. Lehigh has boasted 25 shutouts over the last 3 seasons. No team in the Patriot League has shut out the competition more. As for the Bucknell Bison, they're led by 4th-year head coach Kelly Cook, 2-time Patriot League Coach of the Year, has guided Bucknell to back-to-back Patriot League tournament titles. They've reached the championship game in each of the last 3 years, as a matter of fact, and she's really worked her way up the coaching ladder. She was an assistant at Amherst, then she was the top assistant and recruiting coordinator at Dartmouth, and she's a 2006 Colgate grad, so she knows what it's like to be in the Patriot League. Lehigh and Bucknell, Matt, they hooked up in the regular season, and that was when Bucknell edged Lehigh by a final score of 1-0. Jenna Merrick got the lone goal. Let's meet the starting lineup for Lehigh. Their top goal scorer is Sabrina Moritz. She was also a second-team All-League pick.
She was, and this is a Lehigh team, Justin, in their first matchup with the Bison that were able to get that offensive possession that I talked about in the open. It's going to be really critical for whichever team can establish the possession to be able to do that and have a chance to win here tonight. And this Bison back line certainly I'm going to be up for the task to be able to keep the ball out of the back of the net for the Bison tonight.
Bucknell, they're going to have to scratch and claw for some offense. They've only mustered 16 goals in 18 contests this year, but they do have some weapons to lead the charge, like a student athlete as in Jenna Merrick, just a sophomore who was on the 3rd-team All-League team. Bucknell in their home whites because they are the higher seed. Lehigh in their away brown jerseys. It's officially go time from Emmett Varsity Soccer Field, 50 degrees and pleasant on this fall Tuesday evening. Winner advances the Patriot League semifinals at Nickerson Field in Boston, Massachusetts, come Friday. This is the 31st all-time meeting between these two clubs. Bucknell is 16-11-3 all-time against the Mountain Hawks. Each of the last 3 games between these squads has been decided by 1 goal. It's early on in the broadcast. Time for our keys of the game. We call it Catrillo's Corner here on the Patriot League Network.
Well, the first one, Justin, we'll start with the Lehigh Mountain Hawks, and coming into tonight is first you're looking at Kayla Arestivo getting and keeping her out of clean space. This is a problem for the Bison in the loss the other night to end the regular season, and giving players too much space to work with and create some of those offensive chances, get some good clean shots on goal. Arestivo, one of the top point scorers for this team this year, 4 goals and 2 assists. She had the game-tying goal in Lehigh's final game of the year against Holy Cross, so you have to keep an eye on number 10 tonight. And remember 2016, you go back to it was the end of the regular season, towards the end of the regular season of that year, but it was still the Bison's first loss, and it was here at home to this Lehigh team. So Lehigh still has some of those players from that squad, and I'm sure it's been talked about before that, yes, they can come in here and win this game, being, I guess, maybe the slight underdog. And you go to the Bison side of things, ball movement's so critical for this team. I talked about how this team was able to establish themselves off of set pieces to get some of those top chances, and we saw that a little bit in the game the other night as well in the loss, but they have to be able to find some possession as well and be able to take some pressure off of their defense. Of course, Dangerous Dano, as we like to call her, she's been the key all year for the Bison, both offensively and defensively. She's their main go-to for most of the set pieces. She has to have another good game here tonight for the Bison.
Yeah, the senior from Mission Viejo, California, was tabbed as a second-team All-League pick. Has started every game each of the last 2 seasons. Both teams feeling each other out early on. It's Matt Catrillo and Justin Antoine from Emmett Varsity Soccer Field. Winner advances the Patriot League semifinals. Offensively, Matt, Bucknell, they're going to have to improvise a little bit. They've been struggling to score, talking to the coaches. It could be a byproduct. Look, they've played some of the toughest teams towards the tail end of their schedule. They were shut out against Navy, Boston, and Colgate, fittingly the top 3 teams in the league.
True, and plus we talk about constantly this season the tough non-conference schedule that this team plays, and normally it's this time of the year when some of those tougher games that they go through tends to pay off. Now, we haven't really seen that offensively, but of course they've been up to the task for the most part defensively in all these Patriot League games. But when we also see in the final game of the year, the Bison try a lot of different combinations. A lot of subs were coming in and out. We'll see if Kelly Cook tries to do that here today. Interestingly enough, Camille Andrews got the start on defense tonight, so a couple of different combinations that Kelly Cook is still trying to reach out. This team's dealt with a lot of injuries this year, too, most notably Claire Mency at center back, which has taken some offense away from Holly Burns, who's had a great freshman year for the Bison. She's at center back once again, filling in for Mency. So a couple of things haven't gone the Bison's way, but again, it also comes down to execution when trying to establish some things offensively, as we talked about last time we were together, Justin.
Beautiful swing in the center, and it was knocked away by the Lehigh last line of defense as we saw our first look at Sam Miller, the junior goalkeeper for Lehigh out of Long Island, New York. Saves 75% of the shots that come her way. First deep offensive threat for the Mountain Hawks, and Bucknell scurries back on defense. And Teresa Adobra gets her first ground ball. She's a junior from New Jersey, has boasted 5 shutouts this season, including 1 against these Mountain Hawks back on October 17th, tallied 4 saves in the 1-0 win. She saves 83% of the shots that come her way, and she's a big-time performer. Remember, she got thrown into the fire last year against Navy in the championship game, making her first career start in place of the injured Danny Kaufman. That was a booming kick, but Bucknell couldn't quite corral it, and now we have a goal kick for Lehigh.
Well, you're right, Justin, about Teresa Duadabra and the fact that she was able to come in big for this Bison team down the stretch on their way to winning their second Patriot League title last season. She worked hard during the offseason, took the starting job away from Danny Kaufman through the preseason, and has played really well for the lack of experience, really, that she came into her first full season as the goalkeeper. She's gotten better each and every game. Coaches have talked about her work ethic, her reflexes, both physically and mentally, and that just comes with gaining more experience. So this has been a really good start for Teresa Duadabra, who is only in her junior season, so they get another full senior year for Teresa Duadabra in the net next year for the Bison.
A swing by Jenna Merrick, but it's knocked away by the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. The flanker for Lehigh running in space. It's an opportunity for Claire Sevier. Good touch and ball movement in the center, right outside the 18-yard box. Here's Sabrina Moritz, tied for the team leading goals with 4. Tries to swing it across, and just missing an opportunity was the aforementioned Claire Sevier. What a ball and what a strike by Sabrina Moritz.
Yeah, Moritz with a perfect cross. Yeah, absolutely. And with Sevier there, again, the perfect ball from her teammate and just out of the reach.
She just whiffed?
Yeah.
A flat-out whiff by Sevier. Wow, that was a perfect pass.
Because that near post was open with the way Teresa Duadabra was set up, and nothing really she could have done there because of that perfect ball placement from Sabrina Moritz. But a couple of those unmarked players, sometimes they'll sneak through, and that's kind of been a problem a little bit for this Bison defense at times the second half of the season. Got a young freshman in there in her first playoff game in Emmeline Parham. That's something to keep in mind, too. This is still a young Bison team. A lot of players playing in their first playoff game tonight for the Bison. So we're going to take a couple of minutes for them to kind of get rid of the jitters and ease into this game here tonight and get in their game form. But Parham's got to make sure, and everyone in the center mids and on the back line has to make sure everybody has their marks correctly. You don't want to see players like Sevier sneak through and get an opportunity like that.
And you bring up youth, Matt. This is a team that lost 8 starters from last year's championship squad and over 60 goals from that senior class from a year ago that featured Kendall and Jackie Ham and Alexis Gannon, just to name a few. So they're without the services of those legendary orange and blue players, and that's why their kind of style of play, it's kind of been makeshift all season long. Aggressive defense there by Lehigh, nearly jarring it loose in the back, and Lehigh is the more aggressive team the first 7 minutes thus
There
far.
certainly have been, Justin. That was a great stuff from Kayla Restivo there. Again, on Emmeline Parham, she took a little bit of a tough touch and tried to control the ball again with her dribble. She had pressure from Restivo right on her back, and that caused her to turn the ball over slightly before the Bison were able to recover. So just those jitters that you got to be able to shake off if you're these young Bison players, and you just got to be able to think a couple of plays ahead where you're going to go with the ball as soon as you get it.
Throw in for Riley Cooper-Smith, one of 7 seniors on Bucknell. She actually scored her first career goal against Lehigh 4 years ago. So some fond memories against the brown and white. Little scrum in the center, the swing, pinballs around, desperation kick for the Mountain Hawks over to Sevier, who's going to run in space. This is when Lehigh's at their best, when they are in space. They play a 4-3-3, and they're really good at crossing and swinging the ball around, making defenders miss. Good touches here for the Mountain Hawks as they inch their way up the pitch. Pass intended for Courtney Supp, the reigning Patriot League Rookie of the Week, but just a tad too far.
And it's important to note, too, Justin, despite the 1-0 win for the Bison back on October 17th, the first time these two teams played, this Bison team was outshot by the Mountain Hawks 10-3 in that first half. There were a lot of chances for the Mountain Hawks that they just weren't able to finish before Jenna Merrick got the goal early in the second half. So this Mountain Hawk team still is dangerous, and the Bison have to be able to weather this early storm early from Lehigh, and including you had Holly Burns, who had that big team save in the 19th minute that almost rolled into the goal, or else maybe that game could have been a little bit different for the Bison. So this is still a Lehigh team that has some talent despite their offensive woes that they've had throughout most of the season.
Here's Maddie Dano, we talked about in the open during Catrillo's corner, second team all-league pick, but it's a miss hit. Sevier with the strike, wide.
That's another good take. And a good chance here for Lehigh in the first 10 minutes of this match so far. And again, a little bit of space, too much space for the Mountain Hawks to work with so far. If you're the Bison, one thing they'll have to tighten up as they go through the first half here.
Freshman Holly Burns with the honors on this boot. 2 shots officially for Lehigh, none for Bucknell. Neither team has taken a corner thus far. Here comes Lehigh again, once again being the aggressor. Sevier, pinned in the corner, trying to make a move against Camille Andrews, who's getting the spot start, and that was deflected by Andrews, and here's our first corner of the game. It belongs to Lehigh, and Claire Sevier, the senior from Bethesda, Maryland, a bioengineering major, and she's a lefty, so this kind of gives the ball a unique spin off her foot. But she kicks it with her right foot. Serve in the center, too far. This leads to a goal kick.
They played it short to Annika Jansa, who's got a goal and 2 assists on the year for the Mountain Hawks, and not exactly what she was looking for there. Was a little off target on that cross to try and go inside the 18. A couple of players were there for the Mountain Hawks inside the 6, but just a little too much mustard on that cross attempt from Jansa.
Maddie Dano from Mission Viejo, California with a strong boot. Ball pinballs in the air and eventually handled by Arestivo. Lehigh has numbers. Trying to center it up. The shot easily saved by Teresa Adobra, who has a 1.10 goals against average. There's Lehigh's coach, Eric Lambinas, in his 9th year, guided Lehigh to the 2010 Patriot League tournament title. He's relaxed. He's sitting down. He's cool as a cucumber, not nervous at all.
Or if he is, he's certainly hiding it pretty well.
You know, this Lehigh team, it's fascinating to think about here, Matt. This is a team that started 0-4. They didn't score a goal their first 390 minutes of league play. They get a huge 1-0 win in the nation's capital against American. And then they need to win and get some help the final weekend of the regular season. They edge Holy Cross, their rival, 2-1 on Friday night. Then on Saturday, they have to hope that Lafayette beats Loyola. Lafayette, the worst team in the Patriot League. The Leopards end up getting the win. They go to the tournament. Meanwhile, for Bucknell, they come into the tournament limping, does Kelly Cook's squad, having scored just 1 goal the last 4 games. But I think Kelly's message, hey, it's a new season.
And I think so, too. And there's still some experience on this team, Justin, that can help some of these young players kind of erase what happened in the final game of the year in their loss to Navy, the 3-0 loss the other night to end the regular season. And she's absolutely right. It's time to turn the page. Everybody 0-0, and this is your opportunity here to try for another championship.
Punched away by Adobra, loose ball. Sevier can't hang on, and finally it's knocked away by Holly Burns and co. Outlet opportunity for the Bucknell Bison. In space, it's Bree Kropanak trying to make a defender miss. Kropanak trying to take this coast to coast. It's a tough angle, gets tripped up just inside the box. Officials let the student athletes play on. What a takeaway by Merrick with the lefty boot. Off-balance kick, and the ball whizzes out near the center circle. What a sequence of events.
And a couple of good non-calls, too, Justin. I like the officials letting these players play. It's the playoffs, a lot on the line. That was good defense, too, from Annika Jansa coming back in the midfield on a streaking Bree Kropanak towards the goal. That was a really good sequence there from both teams.
So Holly Burns knocks it away, allows Lehigh to catch their breath and reset. Talking to 9th-year head coach Eric Lambinas of Lehigh before the game, he says this team is as healthy as it's been all season long as that ball's headed away. Inside the box, 50-50 ball. Bucknell trying to win this. Lehigh hangs on, but the serve rolls out to Adobra. And he said, look, this time of year it's all about recovery and relaxation. You can't reinvent the wheel. You can't, study too hard. And go crazy on film study and training and practice planning. You've just got to trust what you've been doing the last 3 months. Get some good meals, get some good rest, and that's what he's really relying on this week if they want to win 3 games and go to the tournament, because that's the only way any team in the Patriot League is going to the NCAA tournament.
Right, and I think that's the right approach by Coach Eric there, Justin, for this Lehigh team, especially after all they had to go through to get into this point. It is already for everybody that's made the Patriot League tournament and gone to this point tonight or down to the semifinals in Boston coming up this weekend. It's already an accomplishment to make it to this point. What you've done this year was good enough to get to the playoffs, so it's a matter of just sticking to what you do and being able to execute when it matters the most.
Foul called on Jenna Merrick, a bit overzealous, so a free kick opportunity for the Lehigh University Mountain Hawks. Let's see if it'll be either Sabrina Moritz to take this or Annika Jansa. Looks like Johnson will take this. Junior from Potomac, Maryland. Led team in goals last year, although only has mustered one this year. Severe with a fake. It is Johnson who takes it, swings it inside the box, and it's headed backwards. Takes a fortuitous Bison bounce, and a wasted opportunity for Lehigh. Those rare set pieces, you got to capitalize. You talked about that in the intro, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. And that same thing goes for Lehigh, too. We talked about how important it is for the Bison coming into tonight, but right there, an offsides call on Lehigh. You just can't have that on a set piece like that.
4 shots for Lehigh thus far, none for Bucknell. 15 minutes and change gone by in this quarterfinal showdown between the 4 seed, the homestanding Bucknell Bison, and the 5 seed, the Lehigh University Mountain Hawks. Winner advances to Nickerson Field on Friday to either take on the Terriers or Colgate. It really depends upon who wins that Navy-Army battle that's going on right now at Glenn Warner Field in Annapolis.
What a battle that's going to be tonight. Classic Army-Navy rivalry for a playoff game. Can't get much better than that.
Yeah, who's going to sing second? That's kind of the storyline over there.
Yep.
It doesn't matter the sport. Army-Navy, we talked about this the last time Bucknell played Navy. It's a true treat to watch.
It's special. It really is. And I'm sure that's going to be a great atmosphere down there in Annapolis tonight.
A swing into the center, nearly a handball, nothing called. Miller punches it away desperately. And Severe knocks it. I thought that was a handball there from the naked eye. Maybe we can get another look. And Kelly Cook thinks that was a handball too. Nothing. You can read her lips. Oh, and the body language says it all. Love to try and get a look. Maybe we will if we get a moment.
Well, that's a big call and a non-call if that is the case. We'll check it
go.
out here. Yep,
oh
there it
my,
is.
Wow.
Hit her in the forearm.
That was on Allie Friedman. Sophomore from Basking Ridge, and that was intentional. I mean, she kind of had to whack that away.
She did, and that is a huge non-call.
That was in the box, too.
Yep, exactly. That would have been a PK, could change the whole complexity of this game. Wow.
Now, you and I saw it up here, and then you could read Kelly Cook's lips. She's very mild-mannered, very professional. You and I both know her very well, but she was visibly frustrated, kind of shooing away the far side official. Wow, that's a huge break for Lehigh as Allie Freeman got away with robbery.
But now if you're the Bison, got to shake it off. Now you're starting to get a couple of chances, so to speak, and starting to push your way inside the Lehigh 18. Got to be able to maintain possession in the next couple of minutes, keep the pressure on that Lehigh back line, and you'll get another opportunity like that again.
Teams feel each other out in center circle. A lot more sense of urgency in this one from Bucknell than we saw in the regular season finale. Remember, in that regular season finale, there wasn't really a lot to play for, Matt, because if Bucknell won, they were the 3 seed. If they lost, they were the 4 seed. At the end of the day, there's really no difference as Jenna Merrick tries to keep this ball in play. Tough angle, and that ball was going out.
She did a great job keeping that alive. That was definitely in. That was just great hustle by Jenna Merrick right there. And that's the kind of play she's brought to the Bison all season long. Another big reason why she's also the leading scorer for the team.
Yeah, one of the bright young spots on this very young team. Merrick, tough angle, swings it in the center. Bree Kropenak, second effort, saved by Miller, rebound, it's put in! It's a goal for the Bucknell Bison with the honors. It's Gabby Bear, the senior. Just her second goal in 22 shots. There for the rebound, right place, right time. Bison draw first blood. All started with Jenna Merrick's hustle to keep that ball in play on the tough angle. Kropenak misfired, but Bear right there for the put-in.
And that's still good toughness, too, from Bree Kropenak. She's really brought it to her A game the last couple of minutes here in this first half there, Justin. And then right there, it's Gabby Bear there for the tap-in, and the Bison get the lead. But it's all hustle from the Bison that created that opportunity.
It had been a grind for the senior. Just 1 goal on 21 shots coming in. But she taps it in. That had some interesting spin. It was kind of fading towards the back post. What a goal for Gabby Bear, the senior who's been part of back-to-back Patriot League tournament titles. She's got that postseason experience. It's coming through big in this one.
Yep, and that was great composure. She knows she's on the doorstep. She knows that ball's got a strange backspin. All she needed to do was a simple tap-in, and there it is, the Bison with a huge goal to take that early lead. And I think it's critical, too, because you're being the favorite team, being at home, really a much better effort here for the Bison and much better advantage to be playing with the lead.
And think about it. Coming into this contest, Bucknell had mustered just 1 goal their last 4 contests. 19 minutes in, they already have a goal.
And it's also, too, where the Bison's a majority of their goals this season, Justin, because of their struggles offensively, not being able to have perfect possession their entire way, they've been getting a lot of those dirty goals, those rebound opportunities, and there it is right there. That was created by hustle, and then just having players right there on the goal line to knock the ball in the back of the net.
Improvising, anticipation, those are the words that assistant coach Dave Mattson always talks about. Look, you don't have the services of the key weapons you had last year, like a Kendall Ham and a Jackie Ham and Alexis Gannon. You got to do the little things like you mentioned, Matt. That was just their 17th goal in 19 games this season as they draw first blood.
And it also keeps your goalkeeper relaxed, too, and Teresa Duwadabra. Yes, she's already has a Patriot League championship game under her belt, but it's still just her second playoff game, too. I'm sure she's still trying to settle into this game, but having a one-goal lead approaching the midway point of the first half certainly has to be good for your young goalkeeper as well.
And last point on that goal, grabbing the reins early on was so important because Lehigh, Matt, is a first half team. They struggle in the second half. Teresa Aduadabra is able to handle it. Lehigh's been outscored 14-7 in the second half and overtimes this season. So a big sigh of relief for the defense. They have some margin of error to work with. Empty possession for Lehigh. Winner advances to Boston in the Patriot League semifinals. 1-0 Bucknell leads Lehigh. That was their first shot and their first goal. Meanwhile, Lehigh has 5 shots and no goals. Good hustle here by Holly Burns, freshman from Morris Plains, New Jersey. Kelly Cook, she's racked up some frequent flyer miles to bring in some student athletes to central Pennsylvania, gone to the Sunshine State, a lot in the tri-state area, but gone to California to get Maddie Dano, who's a huge part of this team. Bree Kropanak trying to turn the corner. Can't. This will lead to a throw-in for Allie Friedman, who got away with that handball about 5 minutes ago. Merrick's able to tap it. And Allie Russo will reset. Gabby Bear with a good touch. Jousting for position.
That was good composure from Emmeline Parham, who had Arestivo all over her battling for this ball. And I was waiting to see if the officials, how much they were going to let them play, as they have been through the first part of this first half. And finally, the officials blow the whistle, and a free kick here for the Bison.
Maddie Dano will take it. She's the team's best striker. Second team All-Patriot League pick. So reliable for Bucknell. She's a lefty. Had the game-winning goal against American earlier this season to notch a huge Patriot League win. Look at that boot into the box. And a wise header for Lehigh as Claire Sevier will punch it out towards the Bison sideline and the aforementioned Kelly Cook.
Yeah, that was a great ball from Dano. Almost a couple of chances there for the Bison to maybe get a dangerous opportunity, but I think the biggest thing here is that gives them a chance to keep establishing some possession, which they've had here really for the last 5 minutes or so.
Bucknell with 2 more wins would advance to the title game for the 4th straight year. Lehigh trying to advance to the semifinals for the first time since 2012. Here's Arestivo in space. We talked about her at the Open. So elusive and quick. Touch pass to Sevier. Swing in the center and knocked away by Burns. Bree Kropanak with a great ball. Allie Freeman trying to blitz past Jenna Merrick. And a wise knock to Sam Miller, who's making her 7th start this season. A restart here for Lehigh. This is Erin Keefe, a freshman.
Keefe was a little slow to get up there, and I think that might have been why the official may have blown the whistle.
Sevier shot past the far post.
That was a good touch from Sevier. Nice volley attempt. Good hit on it. Just went wide.
Rushed it a bit. 20 minutes and change remaining first half. 1-0 Bucknell leads Lehigh thanks to the Doorstep goal from Gabby Bear as we take a look at this rush shot attempt from Claire Sevier. It was Lehigh's 6th shot attempt of the evening. Bucknell has 1 shot and 1 goal. So efficient. And when you average less than a goal per game, you have to be efficient.
That is true. Always counts on the scoreboard, and that's exactly what the Bison are at this point.
A solid strike here. Courtney Supp trying to turn the corner. This will lead to a Lehigh throw-in. Supp, the reigning Patriot League Rookie of the Week. No, referees will change calls. It's going to be or somebody else going to throw it. No, Allie Freeman will throw it in. Freeman, a sophomore from Basking Ridge, New Jersey, a lefty. Tosses it in. Merrick pokes it away, and Bucknell has some numbers. Kropanek loves that near side flank. Aaron Keefe can't handle it. The touch intended for Gabby Bear. Can she outrace Annika Johnson? No, but this will lead to a Bucknell throw-in near the corner post. Camille Andrews will throw it in. Again, good crowd on hand here at Emmett Varsity Soccer Field. Final home game of the season. How about this weather, Matt? It's turned out pretty nice. 50 degrees and pleasant. This is a typical fall evening in central Pennsylvania. You can't draw it up any better.
Yeah, no, really, the last couple of home games for the Bison, they've had some really good weather.
Headed in the center, there's a bit of a scrum, handled nicely by the Mountain Hawks. But it's been raining so much the last, 6 to 8 weeks throughout the country, really, especially in this area. But it's just so refreshing to see some nice weather.
And unfortunately, too, Justin, this field is taking a beating because of all the late summer rainy weather we've had here. The crew here at the Bison just did their best to try and maintain this field as best as they could. You can see a lot of dirt inside the sixes of both goal areas, but this rain really wreaked havoc on this field here during the year.
Maddie Dano will do the free kick honors. Has good athletic bloodlines. Her father played football at Toledo. Her mother was an outstanding gymnast in the Big Ten at Indiana. Beautiful serve in the center, punched away by Miller. Ball loose. Bailey Hurst keeps it in play.
That was such a great ball from Dano once again. Both kicks on direct kicks and those set pieces have been on point on the offensive end so far. Another good, dangerous chance for the Bison here lately.
And if you know nothing about soccer and you just showed up early to watch these women practice, you would be like, Maddie Dano's the best player on Bucknell. She's focused. She's athletic looking. Her kicks are precise and pinpoint in practice, in warm-ups leading up to the game. She's a seasoned senior. She's got 2 rings. She's going for the 3-peat.
She is, yeah, and she's definitely primed for it with her play so far, and just defensively right there. That was perfect technique in keeping her player in front of her from anything from going deep down the other end. She just brings it on both sides of the field for the Bison.
6 shots for Lehigh, and they've come up empty each time. Bucknell has made the most of their few opportunities. Inside 17 minutes to play first half. Great to be alongside Matt Catrillo. I'm Justin Antwell. Winner advances to Nickerson Field at Boston University for the Patriot League semifinals on Friday night. We know Colgate, we know BU will be there. The other quarterfinal matchup is Army-Navy.
And really for the 2 winners here tonight, whether it's Lehigh and Bucknell and Army-Navy, pick your poison for who you face next. Those are 2 really, really tough teams in BU and with Colgate.
How about this weekend in Boston? You've got the field hockey Final Four at New Balance Field on Friday. You've got the aforementioned soccer Final Four, and the Boston Red Sox have their parade tomorrow morning downtown.
Busy, busy weekend. Lots of playoff atmosphere up there in
Good luck finding
Boston.
parking.
Yeah, that too, yes. Something that Boston's used to, I think, with all the championships they just continue to win. Except football last year, but.
Speaking of Eagles, Eric Lambinas is a huge Eagles fan. He's been a season ticket holder since he was 8 years old, he told me. And this past weekend was emotional for him because the Eagles were playing in England at Wembley Stadium, a soccer stadium, and he loves soccer. So he was feeling really good about that Eagle victory and the fact that they were playing on a soccer pitch.
They definitely got to love that here. And again, you see the aggressiveness from Lehigh early. Bree Kropenak just mixing it up with a couple of different players, and that time with Mackenzie Anton. Yeah. And it's really worked in the Bison's favor because they continue to maintain some possession a little bit here, and it gives them another chance to try and create something inside the 18, which nearly happened again on that last kick.
And speaking of overseas, 2 springs ago, the Lehigh team went to France for spring break, and that really built some great team bonding and team chemistry. He said that kind of turned the corner for this, at the time, young Lehigh team that's now full of veterans that are hungry to go to the Patriot League's Final Four for the first time in 6 years.
Yeah, anytime you get a chance for any extended team bonding like that, it can only mean positive things for the future as this Lehigh program continues to build and find themselves back in the postseason.
Yeah, some people go to Cabo or the Bahamas for spring break. They went to France. I mean, that's not bad either.
No, not at all. They'll take that.
Here's an opportunity for Kayla Aristivo. Haven't talked too much about her. She was a first-team All-Patriot League pick.
Yeah, so far, Justin, they've done the Bison back line have done a really good job containing her so far. She brings a lot of dangerous avenues for this Mountain Hawk offense.
A swing in the center, knocked away by Holly Burns and co. Stays with Annika Jansa. This is a Lehigh team that had to win their regular season finale and get some help just to be here. So you kind of feel like they're playing with house money. Because heading into the final game of the Patriot League women's soccer slate, as this ball is booted above the crossbar, there were 5 teams eligible for the final 2 slots. It was a massive scrum. The only team mathematically eliminated heading into this past weekend was Lafayette. And ironically, it was Lafayette that catapulted Lehigh into the field. This sport is crazy.
Exactly, and Lafayette's only Patriot League win was right here at Emmett Field 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
All comes full circle sometimes in the Patriot League, doesn't it?
Bree Kropenak will take a breather. She was a huge part of the Bucknell goal at the 19-minute mark. Here's Maddie Dano with another beautiful strike.
You know, it's an interesting point, Justin, you bring up with how maybe this Lehigh team's playing with house money a little bit, considering how they got in, needing to win, plus get help. I think that certainly, again, is a big reason why I think it's good for the Bison to be playing with a lead right now, because I think still, even though Lehigh you'd like to be up, of course, at this point or tied, they're still going to have that mentality. I think it'll help them relax and stay and kind of keep themselves composed and think, hey, still plenty of time left. We get a goal. We know what might can change. We talked about the 2016 game during the first part of the first half here. So this is not over by any means, especially with Lehigh just having that mindset. And plus, if you're Bucknell, of course, you have tons of expectations coming as the 2-time defending champs.
A swing in the center. Big scrum. Rebound. Corralled by Teresa Adu-Adabra, and she's got some swag and confidence after that pickup.
That was easily her biggest save of the game right there, Justin. That was a really good take just inside the 18 from Sabrina Moritz. Good hard take, good position from Adu-Adabra. Big save at this point in the first half.
Gabby Bear with an opportunity. Ground ball pickup for Sam Miller, junior from Long Island. 2-time second-team All-Patriot League pick. That was her freshman and sophomore year. Junior year wasn't as gaudy maybe as her first 2 years were, but I think she was battling some injuries early on per coach Eric Lambinas, and she's kind of hit her stride at the right time as the calendar flips from October to November, the most important time of the year in soccer.
Yeah, she's also had to work hard to get her way back, Justin, coming off the injury and being able to work her way back to where she is at this point of the season.
11-11 remaining first half, 1-0. Bucknell leads Lehigh thanks to a tap-in goal by senior Gabby Bear, just her second goal of the season. Couple substitutions occur as Casey Gray checks in for the Bison, senior from Kinnelon, one of 7 seniors on the team.
In these last few games of the regular season and out into the postseason, some more minutes off the bench for the senior Casey Gray, who didn't see a whole lot of playing time earlier on this season.
And to be a championship team, Matt, I mean, you need contributions from everybody. It just can't be the stars shining bright. I mean, look at the Boston Red Sox, you know, Nathan Eovaldi and Steve Pearce and Eduardo Nunez. Those aren't the J.D. Martinez of the world, but when you get contributions from even your role players, it can lead to something really special at the end of a season.
Oh, yeah, you want the definition of depth. That was the Boston Red Sox of this past season, no question there. And this Bison team has been able to demonstrate that in years past, and, of course, why they're the 2-time defending champs.
Kropanek has her pocket picked by the backline defense of Lehigh as the Mountain Hawks will inch up the field and look for a throw-in. Bucknell defeated Lehigh 1-0 back on October 17th. Now they boast a 1-0 lead inside 10 minutes to play first half. Winner advances to the semifinals. Bicycle kick for Kropanek. No white jerseys were in the vicinity as Jansen will reset. Weaving her way through traffic and accelerating. It's Aristivo. First team all-league pick, but her pass too strong. And Kate Hennessy, was involved there.
And now that she's entered the game, Justin, she's one of those aggressive forwards that have really helped the Bison, has jumped in this year, one of the young freshmen that's done well for the Bison this year. A couple of goals, a couple of dirty goals, as I talked about. That's been key for the Bison offensively this year. Look for her to give a hard last 9 minutes or so and maybe try to create some more dangerous chances for the Bison.
Riley Cooper-Smith, the senior, will throw it in. Yeah, I love what Kate Hennessy's brought to this team. Both her parents went to Bucknell, and she knows what it's like to be a Bucknell Bison. And Sam Miller will have a kick opportunity. Couple substitutions for Lehigh, these final 8 minutes. Sam Miller showcases her strong right leg. At the midfield line, the ball is volleyed around. And it'll lead to a Lehigh throw-in. 12 of Bucknell's 18 contests, 67% have been decided by 1 goal. So they're no strangers to intense affairs, like we have one brewing right now.
And this here, Justin, really I would say this most latter part of the first half has been all Bison, and it's been good to see and refreshing to see. And just kind of going back to what we talked about in the open of, can this Bison team find a way to maintain possession for several minutes and a good chunk of time to take some pressure off their goalkeeper and their back line. And really from about the 24-minute mark, and really actually ever since they scored that first goal, they've really done a nice job in maintaining that momentum. And the Bison have done a much better job with the possession here in this first half. It'll certainly help them, too, to be able to maintain this momentum late in the first half with Lehigh still down a goal. The more this game unfolds, the more desperate they're going to try to get and try to create some more chances. You'll see maybe that flurry, could see this maybe flurry come up in the final 5 minutes as they get the goal kick here, try to go back upfield. Important for the Bison to make sure they keep things in their control.
Miller with a heave. Good blast from Allie Freeman. Hustling up, it's Courtney Supp trying to turn the corner against Holly Burns. Supp is stuck in the corner and has to work it back out inside 6 to play first half. A swing in the center, and there's the athleticism displayed by Teresa Adu-Adabra. Stands at just 5'6", but her vertical is as good as anybody's on the team per goalie coach, per the goalie coach Dave Mattson.
And also her quickness too, Justin, accounts for maybe not having some of that length that maybe she lacks, being listed at 5'6", and she's done a tremendous job with that as she's gained more experience this season.
Here's an opportunity for Kayla Arestivo, first team All-League pick. Draws a double team, trying to knife her way inside, and more great defense. Tremendous game planning from Kelly Cook, saying, hey, we're going to take away the best option for Lehigh, and that's Arestivo.
Yeah, the Bison have done a nice job with that on Arestivo tonight, and that was a great step by Emmeline Parham to break that up. And she had a couple of anxious moments early on in the first half, but she settled in nicely.
Bailey Hurst thinking about winding and firing, but a last-ditch knockaway for Lehigh inside 5 to play first half.
Yeah, that was Mackenzie Anton that time, Justin, that snuck in there at the last minute to clear that away, or else that would have been a clear one-on-one opportunity for Gabby Bear, or for Bailey Hurst, rather.
Bear's actually a junior. I misspoke early on and called her a senior, but just tremendous that she was able to get that lone goal for Bucknell thus far. 4:15 remaining. Lehigh trying to mount a comeback here in the first half. Coming up at the half, we'll check in with Morgan Uber in our Patriot League studios in Center Valley, Pennsylvania. See what's going on with some all-league awards. And we'll recap the fall cross-country championships that took place on the campus of Bucknell University, where the women won their 4th straight title.
Unbelievable run that team has had. Congratulations to the Bison cross-country team.
Yeah, Kevin Donner is one of the best track and field / cross-country coaches in the business. Monica Johnson with a swing. Centered up. Adu-Adabra. Oh, it's in over outstretched arms. A fortuitous bounce for the Mountain Hawks, and they tie this one at 1. That ball just kept curving and curving and curving, and it drops in. Allie Freeman, first goal of the year for the sophomore, comes at the most opportune time.
It was a good ball out to her, and yeah, I don't think Adu-Adabra was expecting that to curve the way it did.
No.
I don't think Freeman did either the minute it left her leg. I think she was just trying to get something on goal, and Adu-Adabra not expecting it, not ready for it, not in position for it. And what a bounce and what a way for this Lehigh Mountain Hawk team to get back into this game. And this is exactly what, if you're the Bison, you didn't want to have happen, protecting a 1-goal lead late in the half. We're going to get that last few minutes of flurry from the Lehigh Mountain Hawks, who are trailing, and the Mountain Hawks get exactly what they needed. The equalizer, steal the momentum late in the first half.
Allie Freeman is the lefty, just a soft lefty boot, and the exit velo off that kick was tremendous, Matt. It just kept carrying and carrying, and Adu-Adabra read it wrong. She jumped out instead of drifting back. I think it caught everybody by surprise, including you and I, and we are tied at 1 with 3 minutes remaining. What a timely goal for Coach Eric Lambinas' club.
And now a big test for the Bison, Justin, to see how they answer in these final 3 minutes. Can they try and get some sort of dangerous opportunity to get this Lehigh team back on their heels a little bit before the end of the half?
First goal of the year, and it comes in the playoffs. Wow, Allie Freeman. Sometimes, it's unlikely stars that step up like kind of we've talked about throughout this first half. And she's been a key cog in the defensive line. She showed good hustle to run downfield as a flanker and was able to boot it in. Here's Kate Hennessy. I love what Hennessy has brought to the table as just a freshman from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Both of her goals accounted for 1-0 win, so she makes them count. But it leads to a goal kick for Sam Miller with 2 minutes remaining.
Right, and one of those came in a 1-0 win against Holy Cross. Again, one of those dirty goals. She was able to get a loose ball, volley it in on the near corner on this opposite end of the field here. That was a nice win for the Bison early on in the season, September 29th. And that's the kind of attitude and kind of skill that she can bring to the Bison offense.
Bison will swing it around these final 90 seconds, try and get something brewing. Dano with a blast up. Ali Russo runs after it. And nice job of tracking this down by Dano.
And I think going into the half here, Justin, assuming that we stay tied at 1 here for Kelly Cook, I think it'll be important for her to mention to the team, yes, we're tied. Yes, we got a little bit unlucky possibly there. But at the same time, we were able to establish something. We were able to get some possession and maintain that for a good chunk of time. That's something that we've struggled to do the entire year. We can build on that. And if we can get that to start the second half, we've seen the chances we've created already, and we've seen in this first half, they can find themselves right back on top.
I love what Holly Burns is doing at the defensive end. Moments ago, she just had a huge punch to keep Lehigh off balance. 30 seconds remaining first half, all squared away at 1 here in the Patriot League Tournament quarterfinals.
You're definitely right about that, Justin. The amount of composure Holly Burns has displayed here in this first half in her first Patriot League playoff game really has just been outstanding. And also, again, at a position, too, where she really hasn't played this entire season. She's been in the midfield for the most part, filling in at center back for the injured Claire Mency.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Halftime at Emmett Varsity Soccer Field. All tied at 1 between the 5-seed Lehigh and the 4-seed Bucknell. 19 minutes in, it was junior Gabby Bear with a tap-in, just her second goal in 22 shots. And then with a shade over 3 minutes remaining in the first stanza, boom, the southpaw, Allie Freeman, the savvy sophomore, with a nifty little flurry of a kick that sailed over the outstretched arms of Teresa Adu-Adabra to tally the equalizer at 1. Winner, remember, advances to the Patriot League semifinals on Friday at Nickerson Field. 1-1 the score from Emmett Varsity Soccer Field. Time for these young women to hydrate, get a little bit warmer, and come back and regroup for the final 45 minutes or overtime or penalty kicks. We'll be here until we crown a winner. When we come back, we will have some Patriot League Network programming. Jimmy Johnson and Morgan Uber will recap the women's cross-country championships from this past weekend, and we'll look ahead to some soccer awards that were given out by the league office yesterday. Quick score update, Army and Navy 0-0 at the half in Annapolis. More ahead on Stadium and PLN. Moments away from the start of the second half from Emmett Varsity Soccer Field in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. The score in this Patriot League women's soccer quarterfinal showdown. And we're deadlocked at 1 between the 4-seed Bucknell and the 5-seed Lehigh. Great to be alongside Matt Catrillo. I'm Justin Antwell. Let's take a look at some first half highlights. Bucknell was able to score early on, then Lehigh with 3 minutes left tallied the equalizer.
Yeah, and it started with the effort there from Jenna Merrick to be able to keep that ball in play right on the goal line. And then that sets up more great hustle from Merrick, setting up Bree Kropenak, who keeps that loose ball alive just outside the 6, gets the deflection, and then Gabby Bear is right there for the tap-in to give the Bison the 1-goal lead. But then back on the other way comes Allie Freeman. It looks like she was just trying to cross it in. The ball takes a weird spin. Teresa Adu-Adabra not in position, not expecting that to take that spin, and all of a sudden Lehigh ties this thing up at 1 late in the first half to steal the momentum away for the Bison. These first 5 or 10 minutes or so, Justin, going to be so critical for the Bison, and giving up that goal late in the first half to try and get some of that momentum back, because we finally saw more offensive chances than we've seen recently from this team, and just more possession in general. They had all the momentum after they scored that first goal until that freak goal by Allie Freeman late in the half for Lehigh. So this is a critical 5 to 10 minutes coming up for the Bison.
Here's the updated Patriot League Conference Tournament bracket. The winner advances to Boston University for the site of the Patriot League's Final Four that will take place at Nickerson Field on Friday. Boston was the outright regular season champion. Nancy Feldman, Patriot League Coach of the Year, had her squad go 7-0-2. Colgate's the 2 seed. The other quarterfinal game going on is Army versus Navy, and right now they are scoreless at the half.
Yeah, that's a little bit surprising, I thought, just because what we've seen from Navy offensively. But again, you never know. Every time Army and Navy get together, Justin, you never know what can happen. Looks like that's going to be a good finish down there in Annapolis.
Teresa Adu-Adabra gets back between the pipes. She was the championship clinching goalie last year as Bucknell is back-to-back Patriot League tournament champs. Lehigh with the win would advance to the Patriot League semifinals for the first time since 2012. Bucknell, they're going for the three-peat. It's Matt Catrillo and Justin Antoine on hand. Temperature has dropped to 40 degrees. It was 52 degrees at opening kick. Start of the second half underway, and Lehigh has struggled in the final stanza, Matt. I mean, keep this in mind. This should bode well for the Bison, and maybe this was part of Kelly Cook's halftime talk. Lehigh in the second half this season has been outscored 14-7 in the second half/overtime.
Yeah, that's a great point you make, Justin. I think that's also a big reason why this first 5 to 10 minutes is really critical for the Bison. Take that momentum back that they lost in the first half and jump back on this Lehigh team that struggled in the second half this season.
It's a Bucknell team that's still trying to generate some offense.
And that's one other thing, too, that's surprising when you look at our first half stats, Justin. No corners for Bucknell in that first half despite being able to get a goal. It's kind of been the opposite approach of how things have gone offensively for them. Normally they've been able to rack up a lot of corner kicks, but not really a whole lot of chunks of offensive possession time. It's been the opposite here tonight.
Bucknell just 17 goals in 19 games this season. Jenna Merrick trying to turn the corner. Bucknell in their white uniforms operating right to left. Navy in their Lehigh in their road brown uniforms moving left to right. So Army-Navy is scoreless in Annapolis at the half. Opening minutes of the second stanza here. We're all evened up at 1. A goal from Gabby Bear at the 19-minute mark. And then the equalizer by Allie Freeman. Her first of the season comes at such an opportune time to tie it at 1. And here we are, Matt Catrillo and Justin Antwell on hand, our fantastic Patriot Network production crew as well. Streaming on Stadium and PLN. Lehigh trying to work the near side. Serve in the center. Nearly a corner opportunity for Lehigh. Bree Kropenak racing after it. Jansa knives it away.
That a minute ago was some good footwork by Maddie Dano. We've talked about her a little bit tonight, Justin, of what she means to this team. Keeping the ball inbounds on the goal line, tiptoes her way through to try and get the initial clear, but Lehigh still being able to retain possession on the throw-in.
Lehigh trying to keep their Cinderella season alive. This is a team that went just 3-6 in the regular season in Patriot League play, and we've got a foul assessed to Ali Russo and a free kick opportunity for the brown and white just outside the box.
And not exactly what the Bison were looking for there. A good first chance coming up here for Lehigh early here in the second half. An early storm again that the Bison have to try to weather a little bit.
Here's Claire Sevier, senior from Bethesda, Maryland. She's a two-sport athlete as the southpaw. Also runs the long-distance mile in the medley relay for Lehigh's track team. A serve in the center, and it's headed away by a scrum of defenders. Claire Sevier runs a mile in 4 minutes and 51 seconds. That is outstanding.
And it shows to the way how quick and fast she's been on the field here tonight, Justin. 3 shots in that first half as well. She was a little bit of a problem early on for this Bison back line to handle. And she's been pretty good for the Mountain Hawks here tonight in terms of offensive chances.
Lehigh had to win their regular season finale against Holy Cross on the road and get some help just to be in this position. And they're tied at 1 with 41 minutes remaining against the 2-time reigning Patriot League Tournament champions. What a position Eric Lambinas' squad is in. Here's Aristivo, who was very silent in that first half, but it's picked off. Great defense by senior Riley Coopersmith. One of 7 on the Bison.
That's something she does well all season. Sorry about that, Justin, is anticipating the pass, knowing where the ball's coming, steps in front, and then just shows that great speed right up the gut to try to set up that last rush by the Bison, but the Lehigh Mountain Hawks able to hold that one off.
Adu Adabra with an easy snatch. Junior from New Jersey, 5 shutouts this year, including 1 against Lehigh in the regular season. 2 years ago, this Bucknell team faced Penn State in the NCAA tournament. Last year, they went to West Virginia and fell to the Mountaineers. So these seniors and juniors have valuable postseason experience come end of October, early November, the best time of year in soccer. Gabby Bear, who's got the lone goal for Bucknell, junior from New Jersey.
And once again, a tough non-conference schedule the Bison played this season at St. Joe's, Fairleigh Dickinson. Or actually, that was what Lehigh did this year. You had Bison playing Hofstra at Virginia, that was nationally ranked in the top 10, was 7 at the time. Townsend at home at St. Francis. William & Mary here at home at St. Joseph's as well. There's another tough one, and at Princeton again too. Princeton's always a tough play for the Bison. They played them the last 2 seasons, so this is a very seasoned team when it comes to playing some tough opponents in and out of conference.
Freshman Bridget Casey commits the crime, leads to a free kick for Dano. The southpaw swings it, and it's punched away by Sam Miller, one of the most prolific goalies in Lehigh history, and she's only a junior. 21 career shutouts. Jenna Merrick jousting for position, and this will lead to a restart here for Lehigh as they work it upfield.
Yeah, they're going to get Jenna Merrick there for a dangerous kick, leading to this direct kick here for the Mountain Hawks. Tough go for the Bison off that set piece initially from Dano. Good ball placement, just nobody at home for the Bison. Gabby Bear does a nice job keeping that ball alive and shielding her man away, but Bison unable to do anything much else with that.
Bree Kropanek providing some pressure. Bucknell's only mustered 4 shots thus far as we're in the early stages of the second half. Good ball here for Lehigh, but nobody's there to track it down. Teresa Adu Adabra comes way out of the cage to knock it away. And we'll have a throw-in for Lehigh.
And Jenna Merrick, Justin, just working her way back down the field, took a hard collision trying to battle for the ball on the far side of the field, was slow to get up, and she's still a little bit limping trying to walk that off or jog that injury off there. So it looks like she's going to be able to stay on the field.
Holly Burns will set up shop and wait for her teammates to jog upstream. This is Lehigh's 3rd straight Patriot League tournament appearance. But they've come up empty in the quarterfinals each of the last 2 years. Trying to change that fortune. Good hustle from Emily Parham. Gabby Bear with their outside foot. Look at the give and go opportunity. Gabby Bear able to slow it down. Can she turn the corner? Tremendous footwork from Bridget Casey.
Yeah, that was well positioned too, Justin. Good composure from Casey. Good technique.
Riley Cooper-Smith wants to throw in. She's kind of Bucknell's designated thrower from Lebanon, New Jersey. Throwing is an underrated part of soccer. You think it's all about footwork. Restarting possessions down the side can make a difference. Bucknell wanted to try and draw a corner to no avail. As we're about 9 minutes gone by in the second half. All tied at 1 between Bucknell and Lehigh. It's Matt Catrillo and Justin Antwell talking football on the pitch with you. Sam Miller, who battled injuries first half of this season, then took the starting job back after the big win against American. In cage for the Mountain Hawks, Riley Cooper-Smith. Good burst. Leads to yet another throw-in for Cooper-Smith.
And again, great hustle from Cooper-Smith coming up the sideline like she did just a couple of minutes ago. Mentioned how she's valuable in throwing the ball in, Justin, too. So This is now a point in the game, I think, where the Bison, they have the possession. Now it's trying to get some more chances like they had in the first half.
Swing in the center. Parham keeps it in the offensive end. Bucknell using the sides a lot and losing control of the possession was Riley Coopersmith. It's going Lehigh's way. Bear and Baggett play catch with their head. Ball pinballs around. Nice knock away for Lehigh to give them some space. Bucknell still providing pressure on the offensive end. And there goes Sabrina Moritz, second team All-League pick, trying to start a counterattack. Pass intended for Maggie Wadsworth was wide. Haven't talked much about Sydney Warnecker or Maggie Wadsworth today, and those are two good weapons for Lehigh.
Yeah, Warnecker, Justin, coming off the game winner at Holy Cross for Lehigh in the final game of the regular season. That was her second game winner in as many career games at Holy Cross.
Maddie Dano, most athletic player on Bucknell, with a sharp swing. So precise and accurate. Parham and Russo communicate. But here's Sabrina Moritz. Over to Kayla Arestivo, first team All-League pick. They form a dynamic duo. Those two have accounted for 8 of Lehigh's 16 goals. Good hustle by Gabby Bear. Almost blitzed past the last line of defense. Good looking ball. Allie Freeman, who has the lone goal for Lehigh. The touch. Arestivo, ground ball save from Teresa Adu-Adabra.
Second real big save of the night for Teresa Adu-Adabra. She had one late in the first half on Sabrina Moritz. That time on Kayla Arestivo, who really that was her first biggest opportunity of the night that the Bison have given up. So that was a big one there for Adu-Adabra to have. Really the first big opportunity for her since giving up the goal late in the first half.
Making her 19th career start, just a junior.
And it was a situation like that, Justin, where if you're the Bison, anytime you have this Lehigh Mountain Hawk team coming in and counterattack like that where they may have numbers, you got to make sure everyone's on the same page and who has who marked, because you can't leave players like Arestivo with space like that to get a good shot on goal like she just did right there.
Throw in for the Bison, adjacent to the far flag. Baker's dozen minutes gone by, still deadlocked at 1 between the 5-seed Lehigh and the 4-seed Bucknell. Winner advances to Friday's Patriot League semifinal action at Nickerson Field. Alongside Matt Catrillo, I'm Justin Antwell. Ball continues to pinball around, handled well by Claire Sevier. And Lehigh will reset and redirect it. Gabby Bear providing some pressure. Allie Russo letting her presence known. Slide tackle attempt by Camille Andrews whiffs. Baggett can't get by an offensive player. And Lehigh will swing it the other way, and then Riley Coopersmith will track it down, leads to a throw-in. Temperatures dropping, pressures rising. Off Coopersmith, throw in for Lehigh. And Bridget Casey. Claire Sevier finds Arestivo in the center. Arestivo with some good moves, weaving her way through traffic just outside the box, whips it into the arms of Teresa Adu-Adabra. Once again, we see the nifty footwork from Arestivo. She can really create her own shot.
She really did there, and really that was good defense that time from the Bison. Dana was right on her, but that was just tremendous footwork from Kayla Restivo, who was able to create her own space that time, as you mentioned, Justin, to get that good shot on goal. That was really just tremendous display right there of skill.
11-4 in terms of shots. Lehigh out-dueling Bucknell in that category. Bucknell has yet to take a corner. Keep that in mind. 15 minutes gone by, second half. Arestivo, junior journalism major from Northport, New York. Swings it to the flanker. That was Sydney Warnecker. Can't race it down. Dano blasts one to the midfield stripe. Arestivo happens to be the assistant editor of the student newspaper, so she's a typical Patriot League student athlete, doing a lot off the field and on the pitch as well. Inside 30 to play. Bree Kropanak gets tangled up. Mackenzie Anton whips it, and then Maddie Dano just desperately knocks it out of bounds to allow her teammates to reset on defense. It's a wise, savvy hit from Dano. I love Dano's game.
Well, I think that time, Justin, she was trying to reverse her field and maybe try to play back to Burns because she pointed herself as a my bad, so maybe she was trying to keep the possession going, which I could see, but at the same time, she did have pressure on her back there.
Riley Coopersmith with a touch pass to Kropanak. Bison trying to get numbers. Great ball from Kropanak. Pass intended for Merrick, and it's knocked away by the last line of defense. Tremendous nifty moves from Kropanak as the pass was intended for Merrick running up the far side, trying to get another opportunity. Carly Baggett with the touch. Jenna Merrick with the ball inside the box, intended for Bear. Batted away. Merrick had the lone goal in the regular season win against Lehigh 2 weeks ago. Sabrina Moritz weaving her way through traffic. Gabby Bear.
That was some good hustle from Bear right there to break that up in the center. And now Bucknell's going to get the call, too, as you had Parham in there as well. That was really well played by Bear to kind of disrupt that next counterattack from Lehigh right there at midfield.
Physical play thus far in the second half. Free kick at the 50 here for Dano. 27 and change remaining, second half. All deadlocked at 1.
Great ball again from Dano. They've been really on point all night, and given the Bisons, they're just a hit or two away from those last two that she's been able to put inside the box. One late in the first half and one just now. Just a flicker or so away from putting more balls in the back of the net.
Thanks so much to our entire audience for tuning in on Stadium and the Patriot League Network for postseason soccer. We started with 10 teams. Now we're down to the final 6. We know Boston and Colgate have punched their tickets to the semifinals by virtue of getting a bye and playing so well in the regular season. Now it's between Bucknell and Lehigh in this quarterfinal matchup and Army and Navy in the other quarterfinal matchup, and that's still scoreless in the early stage of the second half. And offsides for Bucknell. Gabby Bear a bit overzealous.
That's a tough break for the Bison, too, as well, Justin, as they had numbers, and Bear, I think, had her defender beat, but was just a couple inches offside there.
Carly Baggett swings it out. No white jersey was around, as Claire Sevier chases after it. This This is when Lehigh's at their best, working the ball in space in the open field. Solid touches. A triple team leads to a takeaway.
Great
There's
step by
Mackenzie
Backett there,
Anson.
too.
Arestivo just outside the box. Unselfish kick. Here's Claire Sevier trying to make her move. And this is going to be a corner. Last touch by Camille Andrews. Just the second corner of the game, Matt. Both belong to Lehigh. This is big here.
Has been surprising with how the corners have gone here tonight. Well, both these teams have played offensively this year, but the Bison have a big task to try and clear this one away.
A short corner knocked away by Merrick leads to a throw-in for Lehigh.
I think that time Lehigh was trying to force it into Arestivo, but the Bison had that well covered. That was an easy clear attempt for Merrick just to clear that out of play.
Nice catch by Teresa Adu-Adabra. Lehigh tripling up Bucknell in the shot category, 12-4.
And again, Arestivo had space that time. And another good shot attempt on Teresa Adu-Adabra, who's there for another good save.
And Matt, when you're struggling to score, like Lehigh, they have 16 goals in 18 games this season. Any chance you get, whether it's outside the 18 or inside, you just got to take it at this point. You can't wait for the perfect possession. It's now or never.
Right, and as long as you have space, which the Mountain Hawks have been able to create here the last couple of times they've been down here, and it's been big number 10 and Arestivo who's been able to take those opportunities, and that's something that the Bison have to tighten up here, especially as we get later and later in the second half and we still remain tied.
Teresa Adu-Adabra. 99 saves on the season now for the junior from New Jersey. Short punt. Interesting spin. Played by Lehigh. Arestivo. Opportunity here for Maggie Wadsworth. Mackenzie Anton creeping up in the offensive end, but there's the elusiveness from Maddie Dano, reading the passing lanes perfectly. Counterattack opportunity for Bucknell, but Mackenzie Anton is there to slow it down.
Yeah, the ball took a weird bounce in the air, too. Carly Baggett couldn't quite locate the ball, or else she did have a chance to start another counterattack for the Bison the other way.
Bucknell still struggling on the offensive end, as Teresa Adu-Adabra is able to handle that one. Coming into this game, Bucknell had scored just one goal in their last 4 games. Received a goal at the 19-minute mark by junior Gabby Bear. Then with 3 minutes remaining in the first half, a left-footed chip shot just outside the box by Allie Friedman, the sophomore, for her first goal of the year. Tied it at 1, and that's where we stand right now with 22 to play in the second half. A swing in the center by Bear. It's headed up by Baggett and controlled by Bear. But there's that stingy back line of defense for Lehigh. When you average less than a goal a game and you're in the playoffs, that means you have good defense. And both these defenses have been stout all season long, and particularly tonight. Arestivo, first team all-league selection, in space, knocked away by Riley Coopersmith, and it'll be a corner opportunity for Lehigh on the near side.
Yeah, this entire second half, Justin, Arestivo's had plenty of chances, and that's something that has to be a concern of Kelly Cook, because the Bison back line really did a nice job of containing her in that first half, and all of a sudden, she's been able to make a couple of nifty moves and get free in open space, sometimes create her own space, as she's done in the second half, to get some opportunities. Luckily, Riley Smith fortunate enough to be in striking distance to block that last shot attempt.
That was Arestivo's 4th shot of the half. Bucknell has 4 shots in this game.
Yeah, it's been a tough go for the Bison overall, minus the goal.
Adu-Adabra picks up her 9th save of the game.
All the things that Bucknell had working for them, especially right around when they scored that first goal, and actually controlling some chunks of time of offensive possession. That has been gone here in the second half. Lehigh really has done a nice job carrying their momentum from scoring that late goal in the first half here into the second half, and Bucknell's going to try and find some of that magic again.
Baggett with a swing intended for Merrick as the ball pinballs around. Shade over 20 minutes remaining, all tied at 1. Great to be alongside Matt Catrillo. I'm Justin Antwell. Winner advances the Patriot League Tournament semifinals at Nickerson Field in Boston to either take on the Terriers or the Raiders of Colgate. Colgate boasts the goalie of the year. Terriers boast the coach of the year. The league awards were announced yesterday by the league office. Anything catch you by surprise, Matt? I know you and I have both kind of followed the Patriot League for quite some time, particularly this year.
I'd probably say the big one was that goalkeeper of the year, and Kelly Chivaro, who from Colgate, who has had a tremendous season. We saw her on display here against the Bison not too long ago. Certainly is deserving, but I thought it was going to go to Sydney Fortson of Navy, who we just saw here the other night, Justin. Either one was deserving, but I thought Fortson was going to get it. Ends up going with Chiavaro, which is, again, totally fine. She's deserving of it, too, but I just thought that was probably my biggest surprise. Other than that, I like all the ones that were picked. Nancy Feldman, head coach of the year for BU, certainly is deserving of that. A tremendous program she's always had. And we look on the Bison side of things, Dano, second team All-Patriot League, Merrick, third team All-Patriot League. Both players very deserving of those honors as well.
Yeah, I was proud of Yari Bradfield from American, a senior. I know her team didn't make the tournament, but to basically put American's offense on her back was impressive. 13 goals, 11th most in the country. It's hard to score, and when you get 13 goals and you play like 18 games in a season, that's awfully impressive. 18.5 to go, second half, tied at 1. A swing in the center. Fades past the near post. Bison still looking for their first corner. Haven't seen many substitutions until now.
And on Kelly Cook's side of things, Justin, Lily Courts coming in, Bailey Hurst. Kelly Cook probably telling both of them, give me a hard 5 to 10 minutes to rest Carly Baggett and Gabby Bear for the final stretch here of regulation. And Bailey Hurst did that in the first half, and Lily Courts has done that when she's been given her opportunities this season, too.
Ali Russo providing some pressure. That goes off the foot of senior Camille Andrews from Dallas, Texas. Lily Courts providing some pressure. Goes back to Mackenzie Anton. Adu Adabra's there to handle it. Adu Adabra, two-time goalkeeper of the week in the Patriot League. Her best performance of the year, I thought, came in a losing effort. Tallied a season-high 11 saves against 7th-ranked UVA out of the ACC. You talked about the non-conference schedule, and that was a big litmus test early on. And I know Bucknell lost 5-1, but they handled themselves well.
Certainly was against the number 7 team in the country. Only a 1-0 loss for the Bison at the time. That's certainly, and she made a lot of big saves in that game to keep the Bison in it.
How about that? A foul just outside the box. Kropanek draws the contact. A push from behind by Mackenzie Anton, sophomore from Reading, PA. And this is a golden opportunity here for Bucknell to break this 1-1 tie. A team that has struggled offensively needs to capitalize on set-piece opportunities. Just 17 goals in 19 games this season for the two-time reigning tournament champs, Bucknell. Deadlocked at 1 with Lehigh here in the quarterfinals. Riley Cooper-Smith, the senior.
Yeah, other than corner kicks, Justin, this is as good as it's going to get for the Bison for any chances they're going to have. A little surprised Dano's actually not taking this.
Cooper-Smith's first career goal came against Lehigh 4 years ago. Does not have a goal this season. And line drive shot into the chest of Sam Miller. Lehigh builds the wall, kind of a smoke screen. Splits the wall, but into the arms of Miller. counterattack here for Lehigh. 15 and change remaining. We will go to overtime. And if nothing's decided in those 20 minutes, we'll have penalty shots. Headed by Dano. Anton. Russo heads it, doesn't know where it goes. Dano racing after it, kind of a broken play. Aristivo hangs on to it. Aristivo with her off foot trying to turn the corner. Unselfish pass to the flanker. Allie Freeman line drive in the center, knocked away by Dano. Good help defense. The cross fades past the far side. Whew, dangerous situation for Bucknell's back line.
Yeah, Bucknell, Justin, desperately needs to try and get some more offensive possession here in these final 15 minutes. You're starting to see the midfield, especially the center midfielders, the back line, starting to show a little bit of fatigue, which isn't good when you're trying to slow down number 10 and Aristivo and trying to eliminate some of her chances that she's had. That was way too easy for Lehigh to move the ball around like that, right around and inside the 18, that sequence there.
Still no score between Army and Navy with 18 minutes to play.
Wow.
In Annapolis in the other quarterfinal matchup.
We'll have two good finishes here then in these quarterfinals.
Boston and Colgate probably watching this game up in Hamilton, New York, and in Boston, Massachusetts, seeing who their opponent will be. Congrats to both teams on tremendous regular seasons. They actually played for the right to be the #1 seed on Saturday, and it was Boston that broke through that scoreless tie the final 5 minutes.
Yeah, again, you want to talk about two really well-coached teams, two well-established programs. Already mentioned Nancy Feldman, who's now this year's Coach of the Year. Kathy Braun, I'm just so impressed with the way she conducts herself and is able to really put in just championship contender after championship contender for almost 3 decades now. It really is just remarkable.
Consistency and longevity with both those two women.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've built not just teams, but programs. There's some bright coaches in the sideline today, and Kelly Cook and Eric Lambinas. I mean, Eric Lambinas was at Moravian College, not even a Division I school, and he's worked his way up the coaching ranks. Kelly was at Amherst, then Dartmouth, where she did everything except drive the team bus.
And, of course, she learned from the best, too, from Kathy Braun in her time as a Raider.
Exactly. 2006 Colgate grad, 2-time captain for the Raiders. But now I don't think Kelly Cook owns any Colgate gear. It's all orange and blue in that closet. And she loves Kathy Braun.
Yes, exactly. The mutual respect is there. The personal relationship is there. But when these two hit the pitch, they're going at each other, and they totally understand it from both sides.
That would be a pretty cool semifinal matchup.
It would be.
Mentor
absolutely.
versus mentee, yeah.
Yep.
Allie Russo, the junior with the deflection. Oh, and that's a push from behind.
And this is how it's going to be. And I'll be curious how the officials continue to call this first off because of how aggressive this is and considering where the game is at this point. You see there, wow. And there you go. I didn't really see much contact there. I see both players kind of going for the ball. But for the Bison, they got to find a way to cash in again.
Another line drive save for Miller as she'll sling it on out.
And again, that's interesting. Cooper Smith, again, took that opportunity on the set piece and not Dano, especially from that distance.
Ten and a half remain. Terry Burks, our director. Sam Dixon on graphics and replay. Thanks to our camera crew. Great to be alongside Matt Catrillo. I'm Justin Antwell. Tied at 1, quarterfinal action. Winner ships up to Boston for a Friday under the lights showdown against either the Terriers or the Raiders.
And now for both teams, Justin, as we approach the 10-minute mark left, and really this accounts for overtime as well, or how much we have left to play, is making sure communication is there both in the midfield and on the both back lines to make sure marks are taken care of. You don't want to leave anybody wide open or let anybody sneak through and be pointing the finger when you see the ball in the back of your net.
And at this point, you have to empty the tank. You think about the spring workouts, waking up at 6 a.m. for a lift, and all the conditioning and the running drills that you have to do in August in the grueling heat. This is why you do it for moments like this. Swung in the center, ball batted up in the air. Adu Adabra able to pluck it away from the threats of the Mountain Hawks.
Wow, great composure again from Adu Adabra. Tons of players in the net. It's a loose ball. She keeps her composure. She keeps her eyes on it. She keeps her position that time. And right there, has no hesitation whatsoever and grabs that.
Holly Burns boxing out. That was an underrated play in that sequence.
That was, too. Again, she's been doing that all night, too, before Sup can get there. That was real big time by freshman and then your young goalkeeper as well, who's in only her second playoff game.
Inside 9 to play, tied at 1. What a stand for the Bison. Lehigh working their way up in space. They love to use the middle of the field. Aristivo, she's made her presence known this second half after being silent in that first stanza. Look at the footwork from Aristivo, a first-team All-League pick. Kniving her way through traffic, swinging the ball around with ease.
And again, you worry about the fatigue, though, from the Bison, who have been on their heels virtually this whole second half.
Courtney Sup swings it. Allie Russo able to take a deep breath and get control. Bridget Casey directing traffic. Aristivo to the far side. Claire Sevier gets tangled up, and Lehigh's working backwards.
Bison really needed that clear. It has been all Mountain Hawks here in the second half.
13-6. Shots favor Lehigh. Bucknell still yet to draw a corner. Good hustle by Bridget Casey, but the ball beats her to the end line. And this will be a corner opportunity here for Lehigh.
Yeah, Dano just had to clear that one out. You mentioned the good hustle from Bridget Casey.
Kind of box out the Bison, trying to stop the ball from preventing a corner. But it is a corner here for Lehigh.
And you see Kelly Cook-Justin bringing Jen American, others back in for this final stretch here. Gabby Barrett back in too.
Maggie Wadsworth takes it. Bends it in the center. There's a scrum. Kicked away by Holly Burns. She was the last line of defense. Rebound for Lehigh.
And once again, Justin, Burns is the last line of defense again with a team save. She did it against the Mountain Hawks, the 19th minute, the first time these two teams met on October 17th. She comes up huge there in these final minutes.
Counterattack. Merrick the flanker. Can she center it? Gets tangled up momentarily. Sliced away by Allie Freeman, who has the lone goal for Lehigh. A wild sequence there. It starts with Holly Burns on the back end.
Once again, she's in good position on the far post where she's supposed to be as a center back and just calmly just taps that away to try and work to clear. It's just amazing what she's done this season.
And Camille Andrews was involved as well. Let's give credit to her getting the start as a senior from Dallas, Texas. That was big. Leads to a goal kick here for Sam Miller. But Andrews and Burns, and Baggett, they've all been great. Sounds like a law firm.
And then Baggett had the opportunity right there, just headed it a couple feet over the crossbar.
Inside 6 to play, tied at 1. Sam Miller swings it out. Throw in for Bucknell.
And that was a great shield by Gabby Bear to get that throw in for the Bison here.
On the plus side of the field. A swing to the center. Merrick can't stop it. Loses her footing.
That was unlucky there by Merrick, but luckily, as long as that's saved by Parham, yeah, and she wasn't able to get there. That's a tough one for the Bison. That was a golden opportunity for them to knock the ball around a little bit. Well, actually, they'll get the throw in, so now they have the opportunity, but that could have led to something there for the Bison, no, but they still have some time.
Lefty kick in the center, easily swatted away. Here's Holly Burns again.
And the Bison, as long as they can keep control, they still have time. They don't have to force anything still, as long as they just maintain possession. Don't want to try and force anything either and give it up and then put your defense back on its heels. They still have time to knock the ball around as long as they can maintain control and keep giving themselves some good touches. There's Merrick again with the good hustle, and she's been limping this whole entire second half. She comes up a little bit slow there after losing that 50-50 battle. And that's a nice step by Deanna right there, too, to slow down Arestivo.
Four minutes remain. Clock continues to run as Lehigh sorts out their offense. Another throw-in as Lehigh inches up the field. Lehigh was down 1-0, tied it at 1 with 3 minutes left in the first half. Neither team has found the back of the net in the second stanza, but Lehigh has dominated time of possession. Arestivo has 5 shots already in this half. Lofted into the center. Adu Adabra loses control momentarily, then hangs on. Oh, had a loose grip. Adjacent to her was Sydney Warnecker, eyeballing her second goal of the year, and Adu Adabra may have banged a rib.
I think she's grabbing her wrist, too. She had to climb over Sidoni Warnecker, who's 5'8", a little bit taller than Adu Adabra. I knew that was going to be a tough one for her, but she had to come out and make this play, or else Warnecker was going to have a chance to put that in the back of the net through a header. And you see there, I think her wrist may have hit the top of Warnecker's shoulder. But it was a play that Teresa Adu Adabra had to make. She's able to show some good strength and get in there and corral the loose ball after making the initial save. So that was exactly what needed to be done there, and looks like she'll be okay.
David Madsen, Bucknell's top assistant, is one of the best goalie coaches in the country. He has gotten Adu Adabra ready to play, and we've got a big-time injury on the field for the Bucknell Bison. Injured, it's Bree Kropanak, just a sophomore from Swansboro, North Carolina.
I think she may have hit her head against another Lehigh player. Again, she has just been battling hard. She's been tough as nails all night.
Look at that jersey. That says it all. That's
exactly
a laundry attendant's worst nightmare.
Because she hit her head, and now they are going to take her out.
You got to do a concussion protocol.
That was my first thought there. Because she hit her head and she was down for a couple minutes, you got to make sure, I'm guessing, that she's in good shape and can go back in.
So Kropanak will take a breather and talk with the athletic trainer. 3 minutes remaining as the clock stops for that injury.
But that is a major loss. You said it, Justin, for the Bison here in these final 3 minutes.
Her initial shot set up the lone goal for Bucknell, if you recall, at the 19-minute mark.
Yeah, she's been setting up a lot of good opportunities and offense for the Bison tonight, so hopefully she's able to get back on the field as soon as possible. But in the meantime, the Bison still have to weather the storm from the Mountain Hawks here in these final 3 minutes.
Rebecca Van Sicklen inside the box, trying to make a move. Floats one up and fades past the bar. Trying to deke out Camille Andrews. Leads to a kick for Maddie Dano. 2:20 remaining. If we do go to overtime, it'll be sudden death, 1 10-minute period. If we still don't have a goal, we'll have an intermission, yet another 10-minute period. And if we still don't have a goal after that second overtime stanza, we are going to penalty kicks. This year.
And that wasn't a bad ball from Arestivo there, but I think she had enough space, Justin, to get a shot on goal. I think she maybe tried to do a little too much there.
Pass intended for Kate Hennessy. Inside a minute to play. Tied at 1. They're going to overtime in Army-Navy. All knotted 0-0. 35 seconds away from overtime in this one and a 1-1 score. 20 seconds left. Don't want to do anything foolish, with 15 seconds left. If you're Miller, like kick it behind you accidentally or.
I'll tell you what, Justin, what a start to these Patriot League playoffs. How about that?
2 overtime games in the quarterfinal. Postseason soccer from Emmett Varsity Soccer Field. Through regulation, we're all evened up at 1 between the 5-seed Lehigh and the 4-seed Bucknell in the Women's Soccer Patriot League Tournament quarterfinals. Let's take a look at some highlights from this game. Each team has a goal early on at the 19-minute mark. It was Gabby Bear who tallied her 2nd goal of the season off the rebound from the initial shot of Bree Kopanak. Bucknell was able to draw first blood, but with just 3 minutes remaining in the first half, a lefty boot by the sophomore Allie Friedman. Just her first goal of the season comes at an opportune time as we are tied at 1. Let's take a look at some regulation stats as it's tied at 1. Matt, 16-7, Lehigh dominating the shot department.
They did, especially in that second half, Justin. At one time, the shots were tripled at 12-4 in favor of Lehigh. Bucknell got a couple of shots here and there, a couple of decent chances as the second half progressed, especially in those final 20 minutes. But really, it was all Lehigh in that second half again. They had the momentum that they carried from the end of the first half when they tied the game at 1 on the goal from Friedman. And the Bison finally are fortunate enough to be still tied at 1. You saw a little bit of fatigue starting to show really in that final 20 minutes as well. And they can find a way to get some offensive possession here in the second half. They can take some pressure off themselves.
Here's a look at the Patriot League tournament bracket. The other quarterfinal contest is also in overtime between 6-seed Army and 3-seed Navy. Winner ships up to Boston Friday night at Nickerson Field to take on either the Terriers or the Raiders. All depends upon who wins that Army-Navy battle. So we'll have a 10-minute overtime period. If we still don't have a score in sudden death, we'll have another 10-minute overtime period, and then we'll go to penalty kicks. Great to be alongside Matt Catrillo. I'm Justin Antwell. Lehigh in their brown uniforms, operating left to right. Bucknell in their home whites, moving right to left. Lehigh trying to advance to the Patriot League Tournament semifinals for the first time in 6 years. Bucknell eyeballing a three-peat, back-to-back tournament champions. Lehigh has dominated the shots department 16-7.
And the one thing for the Bison, we saw in the final regular season game in the loss to Navy the other night, Justin, them starting to press a little bit offensively when things weren't going their way. They couldn't find any sort of rhythm. Seeing that at some portions of this second half when you know that they're trying to find that momentum they had earlier on in the first half. Same applies for this overtime or however long that we play here at Emmett Field, is they got to make sure they make the simple pass still and make sure they don't force anything and give the ball away, and all of a sudden they're back on defense like they've been for a majority of this second half and now into the first overtime.
And for a Bison team that struggles to score goals, you have to capitalize on set-piece opportunities, and they've been few and far between. 0 corner kicks in the first 91 minutes thus far.
And the Bison, too, Justin, have had 2 direct kicks just outside the 18 twice in the span of about 5-10 minutes late in that second half. And they really did virtually nothing with them as she had 2 easy saves for Sam Miller to make that were basically just shots right on goal, playing pitch and catch.
Yeah, senior Riley Cooper-Smith came up empty each time.
And speaking of which, Justin, here we go. First corner of the game for Bucknell.
Here's the first corner of the game, right on cue here for the Bucknell Bison, a team that's only mustered 17 goals in 19 games. Senior captain Maddie Dana, who has started every game each of the last 2 seasons. The southpaw will do the honors on the far side.
And she's been on point tonight with all of her free kicks that she's had. We'll see what she can do here on this corner attempt.
She set up the game-winning goal against American off a corner. Boots one in the center, headed up, big scrum, knocked around. Pinballing is the ball. Cooper-Smith keeps it up in the air. Both teams fighting, finally knocked away by Friedman.
And that was what the Bison were looking for, and they had earlier in this first half. Great step again by Cooper-Smith that time working against Arestivo, and the Bison are able to keep the drama here going here and keep the pressure on. A couple of chances here. Parham had a chance. Burns had a chance. Baggett had a chance.
Kropanek thought about the bicycle kick.
Yeah. That was exactly what the Bison need to do more often as we move on here as long as we play. And cut off there again by Parham. She's been playing much better as the game's gone along as she plays in her first playoff game.
Throw in for the Bison. This is a Lehigh team that clinched a Patriot League tournament berth the final day of the regular season. They defeated Holy Cross in Worcester on Friday night, then got the help they needed with the Leopards beating the Greyhounds. Scrum in the middle. Knocked away.
Tough one there for the Bison. A giveaway by Lehigh, a rare giveaway, in fact, by their back line. A couple of players had a chance for it, just couldn't quite get that touch they were looking for.
Cooper Smith. Ground ball save for Sam Miller.
Right idea by Cooper Smith that time, seeing she had Gabby Bear coming on a far post run from the opposite side, but she's got to be able to get some air on that if she's going to try and connect with Gabby Bear.
Booming punt for the Long Island native, the junior, crosses the midfield stripe. Bucknell dominating possession. First 4 minutes of this overtime session. The last time Bucknell played an overtime game in the postseason here at Emmett Varsity Soccer Field, it was Cora Climo who kicked the game winner against the Terriers to send Bucknell to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 11 years. That was almost 2 years ago to the day.
And this has been a much better showing offensively for the Bison here in this first overtime, Justin, with those couple of chances that they have. But still, they got to make sure you have your marks correct here on defense.
9th save for Teresa Adu-Adabra, 2 off her career high, which was 11 against number 7 Virginia in the early portion of the season against the 7th-ranked Cavaliers. Midway through the first overtime, still tied at 1. Great to be alongside Matt Catrillo. I'm Justin Antwell. Opportunity here for the Mountain Hawks. Rebecca Van Sicklen swings it to Kayla Arestivo, who has 7 shots today, trying to turn the corner against Captain Maddie Dano.
That was great defense by Dano. Good hustle to disrupt the dribble there of Arestivo, and then a good shield to make sure that ball went out of bounds, and Arestivo had nowhere to go. Really, I think if I'm Kelly Cook, I may try something out of the box a little bit. Yes, you need Dano in the back line, but I'm making sure that Dano is basically mirroring every move that Arestivo does here as long as we're playing in these overtimes.
Dano plays airtight defense. I echo your sentiments, Matt. 4 and change remaining first overtime. Sudden death. Winner to the Patriot League Tournament semifinals in Boston.
And one thing I noticed too, Justin, yet we did forget to mention is Bree Kropanek. We saw that she got hurt late in the regulation time when she collided heads with a Lehigh player. Looked like she checked out okay in case maybe she got possibly went through concussion protocol. We don't know that for sure. And it's good to see her back on the field because the Bison definitely need her offensively. She's been terrific tonight.
Midway through the first overtime in Annapolis, still no score between Army and Navy. What a way to start the Patriot League Women's Soccer playoffs.
2 overtime games, you can't beat that. The way this game's been, Army-Navy on the other one, can't beat it.
3 and change remain here from Emmett Varsity Soccer Field in our first overtime stanza. This will be a throw in for Bridget Casey. Sabrina Moritz, haven't called her name too much. Stolen away by Carly Baggett. Bison, transition D opportunity.
That was a great step again by Baggett to set that up.
Bucknell will reset. Riley Cooper Smith serves it in the middle, intended for Merrick. Trying to work around a double team. Merrick, the flanker. Can she center it up? Russo's cutting in. Knocked away.
That was a great job by Gabby Bear to find a way to win that 50-50 ball from Cooper Smith. I thought she could have played it safer to try and switch the field towards the back line. She tries for the long ball to Gabby Bear. Bear does a nice job working her way off of her defender, gets the throw in, and now the
This is a
Bison work
corner.
away for a corner kick.
That was
Exactly
last
right.
touched by Libby Andrews. So Bucknell did not have a corner throughout regulation, Matt. This is their second corner in overtime, and their best player, their captain, Maddie Dano's taking it again. If I'm her, I'm swinging it right in the center of the 6-yard box again and hoping for good fortune.
Well, simply because the Bison have done a better job finding a way to get some offensive possession going again in chunks of time, and here's another opportunity.
Dano swings it. Jenna Merrick looking for it. Baggett pops it up with her head. Libby Andrews knocks it away aggressively. Inside 2 minutes to play, first overtime. Bucknell comes up empty on yet another set-piece chance. 100 seconds remain. Gabby Bear, who has Bucknell's lone goal, pinned in the corner. This will be a Bucknell throw-in.
And the Bison will keep taking these throw-ins. It takes pressure off their defense in these final minutes of the first overtime and keeps their possession going for any chance of trying to get some more chances going here.
Sabrina Moritz, a second-team All-League pick, gets tripped up. Reset here for Lehigh. Need a sense of urgency. Good ball. Teresa Adu-Adabra thought about coming out of the cage. Now goes back in. Claire Sevier, tough angle. Whips it back out. Ball is centered. Kicked away by Russo. Kept in play by Bridget Casey. Casey stopping on a dime, changing direction. Fighting through traffic. Bridget Casey with a touch with the outside of her foot. Back to Claire Sevier. And hit away by Russo. Good footwork by Lehigh, but they couldn't break inside that 18-yard box shell.
Yeah, great defense from Merrick. Great defense from Baggett as well to be able to break that one up. Cooper Smith was there too.
30 seconds remaining.
It really proves what a difference that made just for the Bison back line to have those 2-3 minutes off when the Bison were on the attack. I'm not sure if they make those plays if they show that little bit of fatigue if they were still on their heels.
Gabby Bear with the chip. Miller hangs on. And we are going to a second overtime. Still sudden death. 100 minutes thus far, still tied at 1 in this quarterfinal showdown between these Keystone State foes, 5-seed Lehigh and 4-seed Bucknell. Matt Catrillo and myself, Justin Antwell, will be back with coverage of the second overtime. You're watching exclusive coverage of Division I women's soccer on Stadium and the Patriot League Network. 100 minutes gone by, still even at 1 between the 5-seed Lehigh and the 4-seed Bucknell here in the Patriot League women's soccer quarterfinal action from Emmett Varsity Soccer Field in frigid Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Great to be alongside Matt Catrillo. I'm Justin Antwell. 17-9, Lehigh has the advantage in shots. As we take a look at our comprehensive bracket, the other quarterfinal matchup is also in double overtime, just getting underway in that second OT stanza. Army-Navy. Who will sing second?
That is unbelievable. It's hard to say either way with both these games have gone. And this is what's so great about the Patriot League, Justin. We talked about this earlier. You just never know. Once the page turns into the postseason, everybody's at 0-0. You never know what can happen. It's going to be fun to see what happens down the stretch here with both these games.
Winner advances to Boston for the Patriot League Tournament semifinals starting on Friday night at Nickerson Field. That's because Boston won the regular season outright, therefore they have home field advantage throughout this conference tournament. Lehigh trying to propel themselves to the semifinals for the first time in 6 years. Bucknell looking for the three-peat. They are back-to-back tournament champions. Second OT underway, sudden death. If nothing happens in these 10 minutes, we'll go to penalty kicks. Bucknell's lone goal came at the 19-minute mark on a rebound by junior Gabby Bear, her second goal of the season on her 22nd shot of the year. Lehigh had a fortuitous bounce off the left foot of Allie Freeman, which is 3 minutes remaining in the first stanza on a tough angle to poke it past Teresa Adu-Adabra, who's got 9 saves, 2 off her career high. Both teams joust for position early on. And it looks like we are going to have a throw-in adjacent to the far flag. And now a goal kick for Sam Miller.
That was well defended there by the Mountain Hawks as the Bison were trying to work the ball back and forth right on the goal line there. Just not a lot of room to work with.
Miller, a psychology major, junior from Comac, New York. That's in Long Island. 90 seconds gone by, still tied at 1. And we've got a final from Annapolis. The 6-seed Army stuns Navy in double overtime, Matt.
How
1-0.
about that? That is just great for that Army team. It's been an underdog all year. They've had their struggles offensively, too. We saw what a powerhouse Navy was just this past Saturday. That is an incredible win for the Army Black Knights.
So Army will play Boston on
Boston
Friday night.
Wow.
So the winner of this game will face Colgate on Friday night. They'll play at 7:30, the winner of this game. Boston versus Army at 4:30 from Nickerson Field.
That is just tremendous for Army.
And tip your cap to Navy. Great year. They went without Ash Farrow the entire year.
Yeah, they looked like they didn't really miss a beat because
they had to reinvent
4 minutes
style,
into their exhibition game. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wow, Army, good for them. Anyways, back to this one. 2.5 gone by. In second overtime, still tied at 1. Will we see penalty kicks? Or can somebody tally the golden goal? A slip. Ali Russo there for the knockaway. Kropanek to Baggett. What a ball for Baggett. But no flanker was on the far side.
Yeah, that pass just a little too far out in front for Jenna Merrick.
That's a heads-up play by Holly Burns, just to kick it away, allows the defense to reset, leads to a throw-in on the far side. That also milks some clock. Don't allow a transition opportunity for Lehigh, because that's when they're good in space.
Right, that was the only play to make for Holly Burns. She saw it, got the quick clear, and exactly the right play to make there.
Lehigh threatening. Shot wide. Alongside Matt Catrillo, I'm Justin Antwell. Inside 6 minutes to play in the second overtime. Winner advances to Friday's semifinals to take on 2-seed Colgate at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Arestivo with a kick. Shot. Just fades above the crossbar. Sydney Warnecker was eyeballing her second goal of the year.
And almost her second straight overtime goal game winner, too.
Wow. Just fades above the crossbar. In fact, glances off of it and deflects off of it. What a touch from Arestivo to set up that play.
It was. She's had a great second half. And, again, it's those little things where you're coming on the attack, and if you're the back line, you got to make sure you have people marked. And that time, Warnecker was not marked.
And it was Warnecker who had the game-winning goal against Bucknell in 2016. The ball is loose, and it's kicked away.
And the Bison fortunate that they escaped there by inches to still be playing. Warnecker is also someone you don't want to leave alone, especially at this point where she's known to come through in the clutch, as we have seen already.
Wadsworth centers it up. Ball is loose. Russo. Heads-up play just to knock it away as the ball pinballs around on the offensive end for Lehigh. Clear for Bucknell. Inside 5 to play, second overtime. We potentially inch closer to penalty kicks.
Yeah, if we do get to penalty kicks, Justin, this will make things a whole lot interesting because this will be the first time that Teresa Duadabra will be in that situation.
Same for Sam Miller.
True.
But you got to think the postseason experience from last year's game against Navy in the championship is going to help Duadabra in those moments.
It is a fair point, and I think it will for any Bison player that's going to be taking these PKs, assuming we head to that position.
Riley Cooper-Smith with those long strides, accelerates. Leads to a throw-in for Bridget Casey. These teams have put on a tremendous show here in Central Pennsylvania on the pitch. Fierce rivals in every sport. Ball in the center, no brown jersey was there, knocked away by Baggett.
I think that time, if you were a Warnecker, you probably could just try to get a shot on goal, see what happens.
You need a sense of urgency inside 3 minutes to play in the second overtime. Nearing the 110-minute mark, still tied at 1. A goal from Gabby Bear and one from Allie Freeman are why we're here. This is a Lehigh team that started league play 0-4, squeaked into the tournament, and given the two-time reigning champs everything they can handle. For Bucknell, it's a squad that needs to reinvent themselves after losing the services of so many key weapons from last year, like a Jackie Hammond, a Kendall Hammond, Alexis Gannon, just to name a few.
Right, and we've seen those struggles on offense this year, but again, they've been able to at least find a way to get those dirty goals throughout the season, and they've been able to work some offensive possession here and this game and at times throughout the season as well. Just haven't been able to find that consistency, but it all comes down to these final minutes and what the execution is.
Inside 2 to play. Opportunity here for Aristivo. Can she turn the corner at a tough angle? Nifty dribbles, keeps the ball in play, and that's last touch by Bucknell. That's a corner for Lehigh with 100 seconds remaining.
But that was still good defense from Riley Cooper-Smith. Really, that was a tough spot for her to be in. That's almost all she could have done at this point, but the Bison just have to find a way to get a clear out here.
This is the first corner for Lehigh since the first half. 90 seconds remain in double overtime. Ball centered up, big scrum, punched away by Duadabra, and offsides is called.
Wow, that is a big mistake by Lehigh right there with a chance to get the game winner.
One minute remaining.
1 minute left in the period. 1 minute.
Aristivo to Sabrina Moritz. Ground ball save. That's the 10th save for Teresa Duadabra. One off her career high. Booming punt. Well, it's going to come down to the goalies, it seems like, Matt. Sam Miller, the junior. Teresa Duadabra, a junior as well. Miller, 21 career shutouts. Duadabra already has 2 rings on her finger, her first 2 years here.
Well, this is certainly going to be interesting here, Justin. It's who handles the pressure really the most.
Last-ditch effort here. Aristivo shot. It's a goal with 2 seconds left in double overtime. And Lehigh advances to the Patriot League semifinals for the first time since 2012. Officially with 0.4 seconds remaining. At the buzzer, the first team all-league pick, Kayla Aristivo, her team leading 5th goal of the year. At the buzzer.
Wow, that is just absolutely stunning. What a goal. And we've talked about her. What a surge she had in the second half, creating chance after chance after chance. And Kayla Aristivo, who has just been sensational all year for this Lehigh team, puts them into the semifinals.
Her 8th shot. Blitz one past Bucknell. just fighting for space past Camille Andrews. Diving to her left was Teresa Adu-Adabra. Maddie Dano 1 step late coming over. At the buzzer, officially with 0.4 seconds remaining. And Lehigh, the 5 seed, stuns the 2-time reigning tournament champions, Bucknell, by a final score of 2-1. Wow, what a way.
Wow.
How about 2 upsets in the Patriot League tournament quarterfinals? First 6 seed Army beats 3 seed Navy, and now Lehigh down 1-0, and it was the last minute of overtime in the second stanza, and then the first half, the waning minutes too, they scored.
It was. They executed when they needed to, and Arestivo created space for herself when she needed to at the right time. A perfectly placed ball. I mean, you could not have placed that any better than what she did just there against Teresa Adu-Adabra. And they say you never know when it comes to the Patriot League, Justin, especially when it comes to the Patriot League tournament. And you've got it so far. Your 2 lower seeds are facing the 2 highest seeds. And if you're Colgate and if you're BU, yes, you're the most talented teams, but you better be ready to play against both these teams coming up here. It's going to be quite the show this weekend up in Boston.
That'll be a fun ride first back to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for Lehigh. So let's look at the updated Patriot League tournament bracket. The 6 seed Army will take on Boston University at Nickerson Field. The top seed, the regular season champ, at 4:30. And then about 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1, we'll see the 5th seed Lehigh in the Final Four for the first time in 6 years against Colgate, who also had a brilliant regular season. For Navy, it was a tremendous regular season. Hats off to them. They were without their best player all season long as they pieced together a real solid year. And for Bucknell, this is a feeling they haven't had in quite some time, Matt, since they lost in the championship game to Boston 3 years ago when these seniors were freshmen. They were back-to-back tournament champions, and it's just an empty feeling right now. But these young women, they fought so hard throughout this year because they really had to reinvent themselves, losing so many pieces from last year's team.
They did. For the fact that they were able to mark their way back and work their way back to this point to have a chance to go for the three-peat is an accomplishment in itself. Sure, it really stings right now for this team, especially these seniors who's going to go out as the second winningest class in Bucknell women's soccer history, having won the 2 championships to help finish off their career in their sophomore and junior seasons. But, yeah, this stings right now for the Bison, but certainly when you look at everything as a whole and what they've accomplished this year and working their way back, sure they had a lot of struggles this year, but they still found a way to be the 4th seed, get a home game, and have a chance to move on to the semifinals and keep the three-peat alive. Just fell a little bit short.
As for Lehigh, congratulations to Eric Lambinas in his 9th year, led Lehigh to a 2010 Patriot League championship, and that Cinderella slipper, it still fits for Lehigh. This is a team that literally, Matt, had to win its final regular season game and get some help the following day. Coach Lambinas told me he was so nervous, he took his dog for a 2-mile walk. He didn't even watch that Lafayette Loyola game while his team was crowded around like a small iPad. They watched Lafayette pull the upset. They catapult in the tournament. They end up getting the 5 seed, and they draw Bucknell. And what did we talk about in Catrillo's Corner? Remember 2016. In 2016, Bucknell was 14-0-1. Who did they lose their first game against to? Lehigh.
Yep.
This year, Bucknell wasn't the juggernaut they were 2 years ago, but they drop a heartbreaker with 0.4 seconds remaining. Kayla Arestivo gets the game winner.
Yeah, and with Army, of course, they had similar circumstances too. Probably needed a win and then also get some help to come in. But you look at this Lehigh team, they are quickly defining themselves in this last stretch of the regular season now into the postseason, and with this under their belt off that game winner from Arestivo, they've established themselves now as we mentioned their second half struggles. That's all gone now to me, the way they were able to battle back in that Holy Cross game to get themselves in or a chance to get in with the help into the postseason. They get this goal now from Arestivo. This team can play in the second half. They can create those opportunities. They can create that offense, and they can get timely goals when they need to right there and execute down the stretch. So this team's dangerous. Army's dangerous. It's going to be really fun to watch to see how this all shakes out and who's going to be the new Patriot League champ.
How about this? Arestivo, she's a journalism major. She just authored a tremendous chapter.
She's writing the script, and she's going to keep writing more probably for this team.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Time to give out some well-deserved thank yous. Want to thank Kelly Cook and the entire Bucknell staff for all the information they've given us throughout this year. Want to congratulate Eric Lambinas and his Lehigh staff. Want to thank Jacqueline Eddy and the entire Patriot League office for preparing us week in and week out for all these broadcasts. In terms of sports information directors, Justin LaFleur on Lehigh does an outstanding job. He's an encyclopedia. Nobody runs a Division I program better than John Terry on the Bucknell side of things. We thank him. Thanks to all our camera crew all soccer season long. Today we had Brian, Dave, and Nate bearing the cold elements. How about Sam Dixon on graphics and replay, multitasking, and our executive producer, Terry Burke. Thank you so much. Also, coordinating this all, Doug Birdsong does a tremendous job organizing Bison Vision and Patriot Network broadcast here in Lewisburg.
Yeah.
For Matt Catrillo, great job as always, my friend.
Great working with you as always.
There's still men's soccer left to be played here in Lewisburg. I'm Justin Answell signing off from Emmett Varsity Soccer Field. Lehigh wins with 0.4 seconds remaining in double overtime, 2-1 against Bucknell to advance to the Patriot League Tournament semifinals. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening.